Still Austin Blue Corn 5 years. Is it worth the hunt? Is it better than last year's? Or should it be left on the shelves? Well, I want to dive into this new 1 year older Blue Corn Bourbon. So let's go. Welcome back to Old Fashioned Ways Plus Plus. I'm super excited I was able to grab one of these new Still Austin Blue Corn releases. I just happened to be up with Distillery a few weekends back, and these were released that Friday. They will be released to stores pretty soon, and they sell out pretty quickly. So, is this worth the hunt, or should it be left on the shelf? Let's go ahead and open this up, pour some out, and we'll talk a little bit more about it. This is the Bottle and Bond seasonal release by Still Austin, and is blended by master blender Nancy Fraley. Last year's release was one of the best and favorites of the season series. So, did an extra year add any more character and make this better? Will it surpass last year's? I'm going to try to figure that out. Still Austin was proud to announce their return of the Bottle and Bond Blue Corn Bourbon Whiskey. This winter expression is a highly coveted fan favorite, and with an additional year of aging, it might just be even better than ever. Represented by the Winter Crow, they employ blue corn to invoke the endless winter night sky. As always, anytime I do a review, I'll be giving away some samples, so stay tuned to find out how you can win some samples. Time to get into the bottle details. Bottle details, Still Austin Blue Corn, 5 years. Classification, Blue Corn Bourbon Whiskey. Distillery, Still Austin. Release date, November 2024. Proof, 100 proof, making it 50% ABV. Age, 5 years minimum. Finish, there's none stated. Mashbill is 26% blue corn, 25% white corn, 44% rye, and 5% malted barley. MSRP on this bad boy is $80. As with any review, I do a scoring of 1 to 10 on aroma, flavors, complexity, mouthfeel, finish, and would I buy again. All right, I got my trusty book out. I've got this poured, and it's been sitting here for a little bit. I got a new glass when I went out there, grabbed the glass so I can review this with. Let's look at this. Ooh, that's a nice dark amber. I like that darkness. So I think it's even darker than last year. I'm gonna have to go compare that. I might just have to do a comparison of one with the other later on. So let's go in for it. Let's go in for that nose aroma. I'm just trying to warm up my nose, let it start smelling this and just soaking it in. It is very sweet. Ooh, there's a lot of goodness to this. It's a little bit dark. There's a little bit of like a maple in there. A little bit of caramel, a little bit of that Texas kind of a little bit of a Texas funk in there, almost like a little bit of a straw almost as well, but a lot more sweetness over this. And interesting, in the background, I just picked this up on the last 2 sniffs. It smells a little bit like a rose, like a little bit of rose petal in the background. I don't think I've ever smelled that before. That's pretty interesting. For the nose, all that sweetness, all that goodness. Ooh, I'm gonna give that a 6.5. All right. Time to taste it. So that was my first drink of the day. First time any alcohol hits my palate. There's some sweetness, there's some dryness, there's some fruit notes in the background. There's a smokiness to it that I don't remember before. There's some like a datiness to it. Dark cherry is kind of hidden in the background. And there was a lot that went through my palate pretty quickly. As I said, it was my first pour, no warm up on the palate. Sometimes I probably should warm up my palate before I do this, but I always want to get my initial on this. I want to get my initial. It's interesting. Went through quite a few flavors kind of quickly. Still a little bit on my tongue, a little bit of that hint of the whiskey there. I do like that. I think I'm going to give that a 6.5 as well. So let's go in for that second taste, the complexity. How does this evolve on the tongue? Okay, you're starting to get more of that. There's a little bit more tannic to this, so you can taste a little bit of that age. A little bit of more of that darkness. There is a hint of dark cherry. There's a hint of citrus in that background. But there's another flavor. I'm trying to figure out what that is. I don't even, I want to say dark honey, but I don't even know what a dark honey is. Would that be like a honey that's just with certain types of flowers? There's a little bit of a fruit in there, and like a date, but also like a stone fruit, but a very mild hint of it, like an apricot there, kind of just lingering in there. The flavors go through sweetness, a little, very minimal spice. It's very minimal spice on the front of the tongue. There's a lot more sweetness to this, and it just kind of coats. It coats well into the tip and the mid tongue. So for complexity, I think I'm gonna give that a 7. Now mouthfeel. Let's see, thickness and viscosity. On the glass, it sticks decently, but it kind of comes down pretty quickly. But I probably should have washed the glass before I used it. I got it from the distillery and just grabbed it and start drinking out of it. There's an interesting note there that I need to figure out what that taste is. It's a little bit different, but there is that little bit of Texas funk with a little bit of grassiness, a little bit of date in there. It coats the tip, it coats the mid tongue, hits a little bit of that back. I'm getting a little tiny Texas hug, but it's only 100 proof. There's a little bit on the roof of my mouth, and I like when it does cover the roof because not all of them do that. So for mouthfeel, I like it. I like the way there's a nice soft texture to it, kind of like a buttery texture that just stays on the tongue and is there. So for the mouthfeel, I think I'm going to give that a 7 as well. Finish. Now, how does it stay and how does it finish? I love that every drink, you get a little bit more of that flavor. And a little bit more of that Texas comes out. But the tannic is there, and the tannic is starting to taste a little bit more as well. You do get you get that caramel, and it's like a, you know what? I think this would be a good way to describe that when I was trying to figure that out. It's like a roasted caramel that's just a tiny bit overcooked, but not burnt. So you get that flavor, but you get like a little bit of burntness in the background. And I think that'd be the best way to describe that. You also get, that tannins from the barrel. You get those barrel tannins. You do have that like nectarine that was just not when it was ripe. You picked it off the tree. It was not ripe yet, so you have that hint of flavor, but it's not overly sweet. You get some sweetness in there, and it's just nice. I do like it. For finish, because of the way it finishes and the way it stays on from the first to now, I mean, I still have a nice hint of it across my tongue. Now, is it really stuck there? No, but do I still taste it? Yes. So for that finish, I'm going to give that a 7.5. Would I buy again? At $80, would I buy this again? Yes. So as soon as it comes out and hits the market, I'm definitely going to be buying it again. I love the series. I love last year's. I thought it was a one and done last year, so I bought a few extra bottles from last year. Now I know it's going to be a seasonal thing. I think I'll always at least get one extra to keep on the shelf to have as a backup. They are seasonal, so they do come out through season, and then when they're gone, they're gone. I mean, the high rye was actually my favorite last year, and I believe this was my second favorite last year. Now I would like to do that and do maybe a blind with this one and last year's, or even do a blind with this one, last year's high rye, this year's high rye, and last year's of this as well. I'm thinking about that. I don't know. This one has a lot of flavor to it. I think that year added a lot more complexity to it that I really do like. So would I buy again? Yes. And I'm actually going to give that an 8.5, 8.5. All right. So my grand total for this was 43 out of 60. For a bottle and bond, the proof that it is and everything, that's a great score for it. I think that's, a terrific score for this. I like it a lot. I'm going to get another bottle of this. And I think I'm pretty sure I like it better than last year. I haven't had last year's pour in a while, so I really do want to compare them. I might do that over this weekend. The high rye is one of those that I go to on a daily, and I think this might become my new daily. We'll have to see. I'll have to compare them, but we'll see. So let's talk about how you can win a sample. In the comments below, let me know. Have you tried Still Austin, and which is your favorite? And if you haven't done a Still Austin, then which is your favorite bottle and bond? Is there a bottle and bond that I should be trying? I love the seasonal series. It's so much fun, and I really enjoying it. And the rye is the next one. The rye will be up next. Also in the comments below, add hashtag Blue Corn. That's right, hashtag Blue Corn. That will give you a chance to win a sample of this, and we'll get those out kind of quickly here. I'm trying to get caught up on all of them. Well, my friends, thank you for joining me again on another journey down my bourbon rabbit hole. To our next journey, my friends, cheers.